Hey guys, Carr with Munchkins 2.0 and 2.5. Hey, gonna go over a couple reminders here on things that we're seeing in some of the wars and some of the battles. Just kind of reminders of some of the guys that maybe don't go watch videos and this is easy ways to help improve some of the attacks. So the kind of first thing just hitting on is when you're looking at any base, look at where the heroes are, especially on GoHo type attacks. We're seeing lots of those lately, or drags or anything, but definitely look for where those heroes are. If they're easy to get to, that certainly influences your attack and how you can get in there. The other thing we want to look at is what direction, not only when you first enter a base, but what's going to happen after your troops get past that first layer of defenses. So like on this base, coming in from this upper right, lower left, main attack from the right really sets it up so everything converges down there at the middle. Another item to look at is empty spaces. And these are big. This is where we see most GoHo attacks either win or fail miserably. There's going to be giant bombs. There's going to be, Tesla, something else in those empty spaces. So always have an awareness, and definitely when you're doing GoHo attacks and most attacks right now at the Town Hall 8, 9, and even some at the 10 level, bring those dual poison spells, especially if there's less than 30 in the clan castle. It makes it a lot easier to immediately do a single lure, drop both. You can drop them at the same time. Doesn't matter which one you drop first, but make sure they finish their spell duration. The update here last October added 30 seconds to the time clock, so you shouldn't run out of time. Done numerous attacks with these now. That max drag, always takes up to the last couple seconds to finally go. And then when you start to deploy, especially like golems and things, the other things that we see kind of fall apart is people don't plan for their wall breakers. So in this case, if I know I want to hit these two right corners with wall breakers, I'm going to set those golems a little bit inside, wait until they're distracted, or until the defenses are distracted, and then send in the wall breakers. And always be careful for, like splash attacks from whiz towers and things like that. Those will just eat up your wall breakers, and then you're sitting there going tink tink on a wall. So on this attack, this was actually a pretty kind of easy attack. Eagle came in, did the lure, you saw it kill the drag, came in with a couple golems, a dozen wizards, and then I think he had 20 hogs brought in on both sides. And the way he looked at this kind of X-type base was just to bring in most of the troops on that upper right, upper right, lower right. He fans them out just in case there's a spring trap or something else so that they all don't go flying in the air. And those will converge with his main attack there at the main area where the town hall and those two expos are, to basically get full advantage of those heal spells when he finally drops those down. Makes for a real easy attack on here. The way you can mess up this attack would have been to, first of all, not use an X, but have a defense outside of that X to help draw those hogs back out there. The way this was set up and keeping everything compact, it really just, was kind of set up to fail against a GoHo attack. So easy base for Eagle, but those are just some pointers to think about. Another thing to look at is how much space and how to best use your golems or your meat shields to fully distract a base. So here's one on here. Of course, you got 4 different sides you could come in from. On this one, it's going to be looking at what we've been seeing is people coming in with 2 golems real tight and narrow. And what happens is when they do that and then have wizards or witches behind them, all these defenses start zapping away all those wizards and shooters and folks like that. So you got to make sure you send in the golem, give it enough time to fully distract that defense, then have your shooters behind them. So in this case, we're looking at how we can actually send in the golem, distract that cannon, the queen, do a wall breaker up on the right side to basically buy some time. It'll fully distract in that other archer and cannon, and then you could have shooters come in behind it. So that was the plan. We'll see how this does here in a second. It's going to be the same thing. Drag comes out, double poison spell on it. And this is important. I mean, we used to spend anywhere from up to 30 troops trying to kill that CC. Now we don't have to use any. We completely kill them with those 2 poison spells. So here on the attack, so this is kind of cool. Right here at this point, you can actually see that meat shield. That golem is way out there in front. He's fully distracted the queen and all those defenses. You got the other golem fully distracted. You got the Barb King out there distracting. So we have all these shooters that are set up unscathed, not touched. That really lets them get a ton of damage done while the other guys come in. And then kind of smartly so, where we had spaces all around the rest of the base, there's no spaces up on this upper left side, so that's the side that Eagle chose to bring in some hogs, and it makes for a real easy attack. He's going to bring those in, set one heal spell probably right over that crossbow. There's only a couple spaces after the fact, but by then it's already going to be too late. All those defenses will be killed by that point. He still has a lot of the main attack coming in from that right side. So sure enough, you can see how this plays out. The hog attack comes to support that main attack. We still have the main attack acting as meat shields. I can still see that king out there in the front. I can see where the enemy's Barb King is distracted. So that worked out really well. The last thing I wanted to kind of hit on, and this is so we have a Town Hall 10 that's going up against a Town Hall 11. And this, again, this is a typical kind of base that we see with Town Hall 10s and Town Hall 11s. It's where you have all these defenses and Eagle artilleries right here in the center. And then there's an entire ring of defenses around the site. And what that ring is there for is to help distract your golems and basically pull them away from the attack so that it's very difficult to funnel a main attack to the center. And it works really, really well. This is a very common base to see. What's different on this one is he left gaps on these sides, so that allows us to basically send in a couple golems with 5 whizzes, and it will pull away these corner pieces on these two sides, which now leaves up an opening for a single jump spell and some troops. So if we're bringing those down the upper right, lower right, bringing a jump spell here in the middle, now I've got a free, clear area to funnel some a main attack right there into that kind of center part where the Infernos and Town Hall is located. So we're going to watch Carr look at this here in a second. Another way to have done this is do it from a corner approach. With a corner, you'd be using basically 4 jump spells, 2 for those outer walls, a third one on that right side, and a fourth one to actually get into that center Town Hall. Because this base is set up with gaps, we actually saved 2 spells, so we're able to use those on 2 freeze spells that you'll see here in a second. So he deploys basically 2 golems and 5 wizards at that left corner at 9 o'clock, and the same thing at 6. Comes in, gives it just a couple seconds, and then comes in with that middle attack. You can see the jump spell right down here in the middle, right there, with the rest of the whizzes, and his main attack is basically just going to jump right up and over, and it's got a clear shot to go straight into that Eagle artillery, and just makes for a very nice, easy funneled attack. And again, this is kind of playing up, takes it out. I think he ends up getting 80% on the base, but it ends up being a great attack. But that's a simple way to try and funnel and get past that outer range.